Most companies are highly dysfunctional. And the only reason they are staying alive is because the dysfunction is so widespread that none have a competitive advantage. But all of that is going to change very soon. How many times have you been in a store or an office and something is out of place, misaligned, or just simply garbage on the floor? All these are subtle and sometimes not so subtle messages that there's an awful lot of people here that simply do not care. Why don't they care? Because the message they are getting from head office is, you don't count. It's simple. If you tell an employee that their opinion is important to you, and then they tell you their opinion and you ignore it, what message does that employee walk away with? Exactly, they know they don't count. I am not exaggerating that almost every executive I meet tells their employees that they are not a trusted member of this corporation. When it's posted on the bulletin board, top executive meeting at noon, what do all the other employees read? They read that same exact sign very differently. Anyone who is not trusted to hear what is being discussed is not invited. If you don't believe me, go ask the people who are not invited. They will tell you. I have personally seen very talented people quit because of these subtle messages that most companies engage in. Every time you have a meeting where there are people who are not invited, you are sending a very clear message to everyone else. We do not trust you nor value you. You have nothing to say that we want to hear while we make these important decisions. Nevertheless, keep working hard. You cannot expect an employee to put in their all if simultaneously you tell them they are not valued. How do you expect your staff to care about the goals and concerns of your company, whether that company is in the Dow Jones 100 or it's a mum and pup corner store, a battleship, or a small non-profit? If the CEO greets every employee by telling them their opinion doesn't count. But as I said, all this is going to change very soon. This can really be compared to slavery, which was also a highly dysfunctional system. Just more so, as long as every state was a slave state, then nobody had an advantage. But a free state will always outperform a slave state because it engages in less dysfunction. That's why slavery ended. It was simply economics. So too, the situation we find ourselves into today. What do all these companies have in common? Apple, Airbnb, Intel, Google, Microsoft, Tesla, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, PayPal, Amazon, eBay, and Uber. They are the new free states. They are the market leaders and they work in teams. They know very clearly the more people you have in the room, the higher the stock price goes up. James Manyika, an economist out of McKinsey, made this very point. Why are all these companies exclusively American? Because, as he points out, America is ideally situated to take advantage of this concept. Every other company in that same industry is trying to compete, but how are they doing it? It's like the slave state trying to compete with the free state by buying more slaves. You can't employ enough people so that your company starts thinking like Apple or Google. This point is so crucial that God wrote it into the Torah. Chapter 1, verse 26. When God himself created man, he formed a committee and took advice from all the other creatures. Now, relative to God, a monkey has very little to say. What do you think? A hyena is going to advise God about how to make a man? Like give him a better sense of humor? But that is not the point. If you want to build a Dreamliner airplane, you need a team, not the smartest person in the world. This is something Eric Schmidt, the former CEO of Google, said. The best engineers are not the smartest engineers. The best engineers are the ones who know how to work in a team. But even if you work in one of those dysfunctional companies or you're self-employed, you can nevertheless use this principle. King Solomon said, 2 are better than 1. He didn't mean 2 diamonds are better than 1 diamond, or $2 million is better than $1 million. You don't need the wisest man in the world to tell you that. He meant that if you can engage somebody else to help you in what you are working on, you will achieve more than twice what you could achieve otherwise. He wrote 3,000 years ago in the book of Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 14, Teshuas barov yoetz. The solution comes from much advice, not a solution, the solution to what you are struggling with. The more people you can talk to, the more people you can get advice from, even if they have no specific expertise in what you are dealing with, will bring you to the solution. I can tell you from personal experience how true and valuable that advice really is. There are only 2 types of businesses. The type that is run by only one person, but the future belongs to teams. As King Solomon's father, King David, said, Hinei matov u'manayim. Oh, how wonderful it is when people work together.